Deep in the ocean, an orca pod is on the hunt. But these aren't your average orcas. These guys are organized.
Marketing team, did you get those social media posts scheduled for the SEAL migration?
Aye, Captain. We even have an automated notification for all pod managers when they go live.
They use Monday.com to keep their teamwork sharp, their communication clear, and their goals in sight. Monday.com. For whatever you run, even orcas. Go to Monday.com to dive deeper.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer. So let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kill Me Now. I'm your host, Judy Gold, and I'm so excited. We are recording in my apartment. You know I enjoy that now. I can't stand going to the recording studio. I can't stand it. It's like a fucking closet. I was already spent enough time in the closet. So here we are. So there will be interruptions. There'll be sirens. Don't think I don't know that you're taking a fucking video right now. Aliza Rosen is here.
Well, she's not the guest. I'm the
No,
guest.
she's
Fuck
not the
Aliza.
guest. Aliza's
taking
here.
pictures from the side of us at an angle.
Aliza. Aliza.
She's taking silhouette photos.
She's out of her fucking mind. Anyway.
Why?
So here's the deal.
Stand here. No.
I am here this week, and next week's guest is H. Alan Scott.
Hello. Thank you.
H. Alan Scott, who has this new film out, Latter-day Jew. He is a writer. He's a comic. He's an all-around podcaster. He's gay, and he's a Jew. Now, here's the deal. You know, I usually do my Kill Me Now moment at the end, which I will. We'll do a Kill Me Now moment at the end.
I'm ready. Let's dive.
I'm going to start my Kill Me Now moment. Two things. Aliza walks in here.
Aliza's the director of the movie, we should say.
Aliza Rosen, director of the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll be attaching another microphone very soon. But here's the deal. She walks in my apartment. Look, I'm not fancy. I'm not a fancy person.
You have a lovely home.
I have an apartment. It's inexpensive.
Since 1989.
1989, rent stabilized.
Yeah.
There are so many things I fucking hate about
You're
it.
the New York
from
story.
The elevator. Right. The godparents live down the hall. I mean, it's a very, it's not big. I have a house in Provincetown that I bought in 94. That's
That's your bragging right.
But it still needs to be updated. It's fucking old. Anyway, so Aliza walks in and says, oh, this is cute. Okay.
Cozy.
First of all, Aliza, and this is my Jew bell. Okay. First of all, the fact, and it was just like, because where do you live?
L.A.
She lives in L.A.
Yeah.
That's right. She has relatives here, though. I met your...
She's from here.
Yeah, she's from...
Yeah.
Just FYI.
She got married.
She got some money.
And and now she's in, and this is cute.
She drives a Tesla.
Right. So it's basically that, I moved on and you haven't.
You stayed in 1989.
Enjoy your cute little apartment.
Cozy. It's cozy.
You have one bathroom. That's
it's
cute.
cozy. Oh my
That's
God.
so cute. Okay, so that's all I have to say. Now,
oh God.
H. Allen.
I love you.
I love you. Now, your movie, Latter-day Jew.
Yes.
Is great. It's a documentary.
And you're in it.
I'm in it. And
I mean, not for the whole, it's not the Judy Gold show.
No.
But you're in a very
But I'm in
important
it,
part.
and I'm in it again.
Yeah.
It's like, it's great. Here's the deal. When people say HL, first of all, your mother calls you Scott. What the fuck is that?
Let me explain that. Okay, so my legal name is Scott Allen Honninger. But when I started doing stand-up in St. Louis, I would do like Cedric
Scott
Theater.
Ellen?
Yeah, no, when I started Alan.
Alan.
A-L,
I was like,
yeah.
oh, okay.
And so when I started doing stand-up, people kept saying my last name really inappropriately. It's
Like
spelled
what?
Hoeninger, but people often say ho N-word. Don't want to say it. And you get where that goes.
I hate
and
everyone.
so it distracts from the set. People obsess over it. So I changed my name to H. Alan Scott, and people have called me H. Alan Scott since college.
So you took the H from your last name
And just
and
abbreviated.
put it in the front.
Yep.
And
Flip the
then
name.
Alan
Scott.
is your middle name.
Yes.
And then you made Scott your last. That's very okay.
Kill me now.
All right.
Kill me now.
So what do you consider? I mean, you're a writer,
Yeah.
you're a comic,
Yeah.
you're a satirist, you're now a filmmaker.
Well.
What would you? Well, Eliza,
Yeah, she's the filmmaker. I'm the
subject of a
monkey.
film.
Yeah.
What would you consider yourself like if you had to say? You know,
Like-
when they're like, oh, we need a 10-word bio.
Oh, yeah. I would say I'm a writer comedian. I mean,
Okay.
that's what I am. Like,
And you are-
comedy is my first
Right.
and foremost everything.
Right.
It's where I come from with everything I do.
Right. You grew up in Missouri.
Mm-hmm. St. Louis, Missouri.
Missouri.
We say Missouri in St. Louis.
I know. I
but-
just did that on purpose to be
yeah.
an asshole. And you grew up Mormon.
Yeah, it's the second place. Missouri is the second place Mormons went. They left Rochester, New York.
York,
They went
that's
to
it.
Jackson County, Missouri.
Right.
And then they went to Utah. My family are survivors.
Now, all I have to say is, like, I do a whole bit about Mormons in my act. One of them, because most people think that Mormonism was created in Utah, but it was created in upstate New York.
Upstate New York.
So I have a joke about how God got on 87 and then 287. It's like, I'm going
Do
to
you know
start
how
a
it
new
really
religion.
started, though?
John Smith or
Joseph
Joe
Smith.
Smith. Oh, Joseph
Smith.
Fuck, I call him John
He was
Smith.
a seeker in New York.
Right.
He got banned by the state of New York for falsely claiming that crops would grow for farmers. That's what he would do. He'd put rocks in a hat and he would like predict when farmers' crops would grow. The state of New York banned him from doing that, and he needed another job, and he created Mormonism. That's literally how it happened.
Wait, he put rocks in his hat?
Yeah, he would take like rocks and put them in his hat, and then he would like see into the rocks. This was at a time when like people were like experimenting with religions and they were open to all kinds of new stuff. And he would tell the farmers when their crops would grow. And one really rich farmer their crops didn't grow. They sued him, and the state of New York was like, you can't do this anymore. And then all of a sudden, Angel Moroni met him in his backyard, and boom, he has the Book of Mormon.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
This was a little over 100 years ago, maybe?
It was early 1800s, like mid. It was like in
18. I thought it was the late 1800s.
No,
it's
no.
pretty new religion.
It is really new.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
'Cause
can't-
he ran
the
for
new
president,
religions
I
are
think,
not-
around when Abraham Lincoln was around.
Right.
I think.
There's
I
no
could be wrong
new
on that
religion.
date.
Like, that's
Yeah.
it. We're
Yeah.
done. You don't create
We're
new
done.
fucking religions.
Scientology, move on.
Right. And
Yes.
these evangelicals, like, get the fuck,
No.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And this
Born
more-
again. No,
Oh,
you were
God,
always
yeah.
you were always there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with
No.
this shit. I
But
mean,
yeah.
like,
But it's the first like successful American religion, basically.
right. And there's
American
so
created.
many great people who are Mormons.
Oh yeah.
And smart. And I'm like,
Mormons are great people. They
I
are
know,
very good
but I
people.
just can't believe. Like, for me, I'm always like, but how do you follow this
Yeah.
Book of Mormon?
Well, and that's the thing that a lot of progressive Mormons are struggling with, because the
Right.
church is becoming so strict
Right.
that they don't see a place for themselves
Right.
in the mix. And there's
Right.
a couple in the film that we talk about.
Yes,
that
yes.
Had that. with
That
the-
I'm fascinated by
yeah,
them.
they're
fascinated.
fascinating.
I really need to discuss them
Yeah.
at some point, but not right now. Okay, so you grew up in Missouri. How many
Yes.
kids in your family?
Well, I have 3 immediate brothers, but my parents separated. My mom was a horrible Mormon. My parents separated, and so I have a lot of half and step siblings.
How
But I-
many?
13 total. Yeah.
What?
I
That's
know.
fucking ridiculous.
But I don't even know half of them. In fact, I found out
That's
one
like
of them.
being a Hasidic Jew.
Yeah.
Good night.
It's similar.
Yeah.
There was one found me from a TV show. I did this show called Oddities years ago, like some reality show.
Why do you have to
And I'm not
name
plugging.
drop?
I'm not plugging.
Name
the
drop
reason.
Oddities. No,
she
I'm
saw
kidding.
me on Oddities. She looked me up on Facebook. She looked through all my stuff. She saw that we had relatives in common, and then she started messaging me, and I was like, "Oh, your dad is my dad," and
No way.
Yeah.
Do you look alike?
No. He left her years ago.
So
Same with us.
so your mom was married to your dad.
Yeah.
Had how many? 3 kids?
4 kids.
4
total.
kids.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened?
And then they divorced.
And was he Mormon too, your
No,
father?
he was not Mormon. He was like a lapsed Catholic. Like,
Okay.
He was horrible.
So how long were they married? How old were you when they got divorced?
I was like 6.
Okay, so
7.
you don't
I was
fucking
young.
remember.
Yeah, I
All
don't
right.
really. And then we lived with him because my mom didn't have much money then, and so
Right.
they gave custody to him. And for 4 years we lived with him, and then we moved in with my mom, and he just left. I don't really have much of a relationship.
So
with him.
you were with him till you're 10, and
Yeah,
then he
basically.
disappears.
Yeah.
And then you're living with your mother.
And that's when I got baptized Mormon. When I moved in with my mom.
Oh, so
But
you
we
didn't
were
really.
raised, but we were raised Mormon with my dad and my mom. That was the one thing my
So
mom
you're-
said. So my dad took us to, and I remember being like 6 years old at like Mormon camp, and them because I was so gay then. I was so gay, and
as opposed to now.
I know, right? And they would look at my nail beds and my lips, and they would be like, "Why are you wearing nail polish?" And I was like, "My nails are just pink." But they were trying to infer
Right.
that I was doing these women things, like I was being womanly, and just to talk about me being effeminate. And they said I wore lipstick, and I'm like, "No, I don't. I'm 6 years old. I don't even have women
Oh,
at home."
fuck them.
Yeah, it was.
I
a
made
whole thing.
I've already discussed this on the podcast, but I made everyone call me Robert. I cut all my hair off. I
Yeah.
mean, it was just there was no representation. You didn't
No.
know how to fucking.
No, you had to do
because you knew
anything.
you're born this way.
Yeah.
And then you don't know what it is until you're an adolescent. You
Yeah.
go, oh.
when puberty hits.
Yeah, but the whole time you're like not developing, like you're not doing the. It's like I want to mow the lawn.
Everything. Yeah, exactly.
I want to shovel this. I want to play with my cars downstairs. I don't want to fucking knit. I don't want to fucking learn how to sew. I can't eat. Yeah.
I was just talking to someone else about my mom just recently remembered a time when she thought that the Mormons were coming for conversion therapy for me, but she didn't know it was conversion therapy because of course I don't call it that. I was like 10 years old or maybe a little bit older than that, and they came to speak with my mom about this sort of like camp that Mormons boys could go to
Right.
become great Mormons and stuff.
Right.
And my mom sat there and was like, well, literally your former show, the Rosie O'Donnell show,
Right.
he's a big fan of daytime TV, and it's summer break and he would hate to miss daytime TV, so I don't think he can go to this camp. It literally, she now thinks, was a conversion therapy camp.
I bet it
for
was.
little boys.
I bet it was.
And my love of the Rosie O'Donnell show kept me from conversion therapy.
That's
a
fucking
headline.
great.
I should turn that into a Vice
And
article.
you
or
know,
something,
I
shouldn't
always say, if people, we used to say it during the show, if people knew how gay this show was,
Yeah.
that everyone, John McDaniel,
Can I tell you?
Rosie,
He's from my hometown.
yeah,
Kirkwood,
oh, really?
Missouri. Yeah, I graduated from my
we-
hometown.
Everyone.
Can I tell you how much of an influence that show had on me and just my comic sensibility? It's how I learned about you. Is how I was obsessed with the structure of the show, the jokes on the show, how it worked, everyone involved in it. This was before IMDb. I researched who wrote on the show, looked them up to find where they were doing stuff. And that's how I found
Right.
you. And it's like, it was such a huge impact on me as just sort of professionally. Like what I needed to be doing in life was everything and everyone in that show.
Right. And it was fun and it was campy.
Yeah.
And it was unapologetic. And
Yeah.
it's, So you're the what are you of the four kids?
I'm third. So I'm like third.
Any other gays?
You could say third to youngest, third to oldest. I
Right,
don't know.
yeah.
No. They're very boring. Very, very boring.
know. I don't
You
know
saw the
gays.
film.
Yeah.
People in the film question. They're like, "Oh, it doesn't seem like your siblings like that you converted." And I always have to tell people, no, they're just very boring. Like they don't talk.
Yeah, they don't talk
They
at
have
all.
no. My mom and I suck up all the energy in the room. There's no words.
So
coming
they
out of
don't
them.
talk, but are they your nieces and your niece
Yeah,
and
they're
nephew? They're
very
adorable.
loud. They're very loud
And
yeah.
adorable.
Yes. yeah.
Okay. So here you are. You're growing up in it's not St. Louis proper.
It's outside St. Louis. Yeah.
But you have St. Louis to go see real people.
Yeah. It's like
Okay.
30 minutes away.
Okay. Were you, what was school like for you?
I mean, for me, I had this weird balance of like, I knew I was gay, obviously.
What?
I knew something. Yeah, I knew something was up with me, but there was no, and my family was really accepting and open to it, and like I could be who I wanted to be, but I had no access to anybody else that was gay at
Right.
all, and except for on the Rosie O'Donnell show.
Right.
And I remember school was fine for me. I excelled at school. I was doing great. I had friends, all these things, but I didn't have anyone gay, and so I called this group, like this number in the back of XY magazine. It was like an old gay male
Oh, yeah, I
youth
remember
magazine.
that.
Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
And they had a number you could call in different cities to meet other gay kids. And there's this youth group in St. Louis called Growing American Youth that was like so influential for me. I called the number. An older person who had belonged to the group previously, but was like, he answered phones for this phone line thing, picked me up secretly, took me to this group, and I was able to meet other gay
How old were you?
people. I was 13. Yeah. And it was the most.
That is so.
It was the most influential thing that.
So he picked you up.
In secret. My mom couldn't know. He picked me up in the
How old was
McDonald's.
he?
I had some fries. He was in his 20s, and now it
And
seems
he didn't
insane.
try to touch your
No, not at
balls?
all.
Okay.
Nothing. I wish. I was waiting for something
All right,
to
so
happen.
he picks you up.
But he picked me up. He took me down there.
And you weren't scared.
I was a little scared because had to go all the way downtown for it,
Right.
And it was this whole thing. But now, looking back on it, it was just sort of like I just needed to see other gay people in real life and
that
interact
they're-
with
right,
them,
right.
And that's all I needed to do. And I didn't even need to go back to the group. I
Just
just
to
needed to
even
see
know-
that they
right.
existed.
Like when I've said this before too, but when I think of Edie Windsor
Yeah.
and The Aspire, and I, in 1967, that
Imagine.
she proposes,
Yeah.
that in her head there is a remote possibility
Mm-hmm.
that they will be married, just like I mean, growing up, never.
Yeah.
I thought, no way
Yeah.
that I'm gonna have kids, and then
Yeah.
And where were we on TV?
I remember as a kid thinking like, well, I don't mind being alone. Like I get enough attention. Like,
Right.
I'm a funny person. I get everything.
And you'll be fine.
And I'll be fine. That's
Right.
literally what I thought. I'll just be fine.
That's I went through a period where I was because I always knew I was gay, and then in college I tried it with a guy. I fucking hated it so much.
Did you just lay there?
Pretty much. I
Yeah.
felt like I was being assaulted, even though I wasn't.
Yeah.
But it was so
Consented
unnatural.
assault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was with. Anyway, so, but that was just me, And I was like, all right, I'll be fine. I have a lot
Yeah.
of friends.
Yeah.
I'll go out
Isn't
on the
that strange
slide.
how-
And it's like, because you're thinking, how am I going to survive? Because I knew I wasn't going to I could never
Yeah.
fake a marriage.
No,
Like,
there was-
there was no fucking way.
there was
There's
no
so many
way.
people. Well, you know how all these people are always like,
Yeah.
oh, well, she was married and they had kids, and then she turned into a lesbian. It's like, no, she didn't.
She was
turn
always
in.
a
Yes.
lesbian.
But
Always.
yeah,
And sure, there
that's what-
probably was genuine love there.
right,
But
which takes that choice comment, like
Yeah.
why would people your
Yes.
sexual preference? We don't prefer, fuck
No,
you. Like
fuck
anyone would
you.
choose this, you
Yeah.
fucking piece of shit. Anyway.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
You live with your father.
Yeah,
10
well,
years,
moved
and
in with my mother.
Move in with your mother.
Yeah.
So you move in with your mother baptizes.
Yeah, so my siblings all got baptized before me, and I delayed it because I had so many questions.
Right.
And
Shocking,
right? Jew. And then finally she's just sort of, she gets frustrated, and I just kind of did it for her. But what also helped was the missionary who was which is also very gay, in my baptism thing, I was so attracted to him. He was the most beautiful specimen. And the idea of being in a bathtub with him holding me was like so
Oh, that's
hot.
what they do?
Yeah. They hold you. It's so strange. So like you're in sort of like a jacuzzi
It's like a
type thing.
mikvah.
Kind of, but much more lower scale. Much
Right.
more lower
Well,
scale.
we
the
are
mikvah
very
I had
fancy.
was like classy.
Right.
Very classy.
I've
Whereas
never been in a mikvah.
You need to go in a mikvah.
I know. I want to go.
How have you not been in a mikvah?
I know. I never. Is
How
that
is that-
ridiculous?
you could get sponsored by a mikvah. This
I
is
want
insane.
to.
This is
I should
insane.
do a little documentary of me going in a mikvah for the first time. Ooh, do you know any
That's
filmmakers?
Right over there on the couch.
Oh.
She thinks your apartment's
Cute.
cozy.
That's so cute.
Cozy.
All right.
No, you're in this sort of like bathtub type thing, like a
Right,
jacuzzi
right.
in front of your whole family, and there's a young, ripe, succulent, beautiful man holding you, the 20-year-old, 18-year-old holding you, and then there's an old dude who's an elder in the church. He's standing above you saying these prayers, and the young guy dips you in. And when I was being dipped in, you have to wear this like white outfit sort of thing,
Right.
and nothing else. And all I could think about was that my head, the top of my head, was inches away from his penis, and it was the most. That's
I
all
would have
was
been
thinking.
like, did you have, everyone can see my heart on now.
Well, that's what I worried about because I was going through puberty at the time. And then when you get presented to your family, you're wearing a white clingy thing.
Oh,
all of
God,
a sudden,
this is so fucking
yeah,
weird.
everyone sees it.
Wait,
Everyone sees it.
You're in a white
It was like a
thing.
white type robe type thing, and I couldn't wear anything else. And I don't know if that's customary, if it was just me, or if I decided to do that. I don't remember that. But when I get presented to my family, it's just just
you
clung
wet.
to me.
It's like a wet T-shirt contest.
With me thinking about the dude next to me's dick. Yeah, it's a moment.
Was he gay?
I don't know what happened to him. I mean,
gotta
I
find
think
that
maybe.
out.
And I think there's a lot of gay Mormons.
Duh. There's a lot of gay everyone.
Yes, everyone.
Okay, so
So I get the baptized, and that's
Do
kind
you
of the
feel
last day.
anything? Do you
No,
feel anything?
I feel gayer.
does your mother? Is she all like, "Oh, you're baptized"?
Yes, but that's all she wanted. She
Right.
didn't care about my involvement in the church. She didn't care about if I went on a mission trip. She only wanted me to
why
be
do you
baptized.
think that? So were her parents
Yes.
Mormons?
Oh, her parents were big Mormons in Missouri. They were very prominent Mormons.
Okay, so this was all part of the brainwashing.
Yes.
Okay. In school, what's going on? Do you have friends?
I have
Are you-
friends. I kind of excel. I get student body president. I'm the funny
What?
one. I know. I'm the funny one.
It's so interesting that the guys have such a different experience.
Well, I think there's two different types of gay people. There's the ones that excel to the point of covering up. So like they're the funny ones. They get all the things. They get all the shows because they are obnoxious and they're kind of a caricature. I was
Right.
definitely that. I was trying to hide being anything
Fearless.
real,
Yeah,
basically. And because I was that, people just kind of kept me around, but they didn't care about the personal side of me. If I was sad or if I was gay or if I was dating anyone,
course,
they didn't
yeah.
care about any of that. And then there's the other type of gays who go inward and who become shy and introverted and don't want the attention and they want to hide any semblance of them being found out. I was definitely the showy one.
Well, there's also the ones that not only there's the shy one, and then there's the one who overly compensates
Yeah.
and is overly hetero.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
But then in college, I became the shy one.
right. Well,
I sort of went inward then.
you know, my younger son, who,
Mm-hmm.
as Elisa was like, is he the gigantic one? Yes. Cute. Anyway,
You're so cozy.
he's 6'8",
Yes.
most popular kid,
Of course.
funny, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know how many people have come up to me and been like, oh, he's so tall. Thank God he's a boy. I'm like, I'm standing right here,
Yeah.
fuckhead. But it's also
I'm 6'2".
right?
Yeah.
But it's also that it's such a different experience, male. You know,
Well, there's so much privilege associated
Right.
with someone who's 6'8" and male.
Right.
I mean,
And white.
Look at the mayor of New York City.
Right.
And yet, I know. And yet, for women, it's like
thanks for bringing
there's
this down.
something. Sorry, I
Right.
had to
He's
do a
the
plug
worst
there.
mayor ever.
He really is.
So growing up,
Yeah.
you were obsessed with Jewish women. You were obsessed
Yes.
with Barbara, with Bet, and with Nora Ephron,
Oh
which
my
is an
God.
interesting one
Nora,
because
because I was a big reader, and Nora Ephron's books were, especially Heartburn, was so influential to me. So influential. It was just
how
like,
did you get a hold of all? I mean, was your school like diverse? Did you know any Jews growing up?
No, none. I knew one.
Who?
It was Stephen Edelman.
Why are
And
there always one Jew
There's
in
always
these towns?
one, and they're always named something like
Right.
Edelman.
Right.
But
Why was he there?
Well, just because he was. I don't know. But at his bar mitzvah, he was the only bar mitzvah I ever went to.
Right.
And my mom played a practical joke on me, saying they circumcised the boy at the bar mitzvah. So
oh,
yeah.
that's a funny one.
Well,
Yeah.
wait for it. So I went to the bar mitzvah and told everyone that Stephen's about to get circumcised. And then I freaked out because I didn't want to see Stephen get circumcised. And I went up to Mrs. Edelman and I was like, I can't see Steve get circumcised. She took me to a group of women around her age and she told me to say exactly what I had just told her to that women. And it was the first time I killed. Everyone laughed.
But
and I didn't know
were
why.
You weren't in on
No,
the joke.
until I got home. And it was this weird
Did you
sensation.
fucking want to kill your mother?
Yes, of course. But I also loved that I made these people laugh. You know
right,
what I mean?
of course. Because you control the laughter.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I see how this works.
And it kind of also taught me in retrospect that I have an ability to do that at least. I
Right.
don't know. I needed to hone it.
right,
And-
of
yeah.
course. I mean,
Yeah.
having that power, it's such a powerful
It
thing.
is such a powerful thing.
It's a lot of that is in my book.
Yeah.
How powerful it is.
I
And
can't
that's-
wait for your book.
Okay, so you live with your mother, you graduate high school.
Yeah.
Do you go to college?
Yes, I go to DePaul University.
Right.
And it was great. I mean, my whole experience in Chicago was really just sort of
I love Chicago.
I love Chicago,
Jews
but
there.
I had such a. I hated college. I hated everything about life. I just
Why?
wanted to get through it, get done with it, move on.
And what did you major in?
Political science, and
Oh,
and I
that's
went into
good.
I went into politics.
What'd you? Oh yes.
I
Wait,
stopped-
I have
yeah.
you worked on the Wesley Clark.
Yeah, I did.
Jew.
Yes.
Did
yeah.
you know that?
Yes, I
Mother
did.
Jewish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Yeah. He would have been
Yes.
the first sort of Jew.
Sort of Jewish
yeah.
president.
He wasn't
yeah.
totally Jewish.
Right,
Yeah.
but he was. But
Yeah.
I grew up.
Oh,
my
he
mother-
used that too.
Yeah.
He used that to the Jew vote. But yeah, I worked for Wesley Clark. I worked for Hillary Clinton. I worked for a bunch. And I moved to New York. Politics was what brought me to New York. I worked for Anthony Weiner.
Yes, I know that.
Yes.
That was another thing I was
and
like.
then I
Did
sort of
you
left comedy and
Here's
went
the
back
thing.
into it after that.
Okay, here's all I have to say about Anthony Weiner.
Oy.
Great,
Amazing. Politician.
amazing.
He would have
didn't
done
take
such good.
He is a fucking waste.
Yeah.
He wasted all of that. Everything.
Literally,
He would have fucking put
everything-
Trump in it. I mean,
Imagine him as mayor. Imagine him as mayor. He would have, outside of the arrogance and everything that he fucked up, if you really just look at his policies
Right.
and what he would have done as mayor, he would have gone down
Right.
as one of the greatest New York City mayors.
I agree.
He totally would have. And he fucked it all up because of
fucked it-
male arrogance,
because of
toxicity.
his fucking cock.
Like, yeah.
And his mother was like, "Oh, Anthony, you're so perfect," and he wanted, that's
Yeah.
what I'm telling you.
It's such
And
a
the
waste.
one-
It's
you
such
know,
a waste because
and
he is so good. And that's what pisses me off.
He was such a fucking, but he was arrogant.
He was
too.
arrogant.
You just say, "I have a
Arrogant.
problem."
But I also think
and then with the kid in the bed,
I know.
what is? And she stays with him. What is with the women staying with them?
I mean, that is what. Yeah, no, that was a Clinton thing.
Do you think Hillary told her to stay with
I
him?
think so. I think during the campaign she was becoming too big of a story, and she was just like, "Keep this natural, keep this normal." Like it has to be,
Do
right?
you think they're still friends, Hillary and?
Oh, sure, 100%.
But
The
here's-
Clintons keep their people. I have to say, the Clintons and the Clinton campaign, it was just the most professional, nicest.
Can I say
like-
something? I think Hillary really loves him.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's.
I really do.
You
I
know-
think that she knows he's a fucking asshole. I think her father was tough on her. I think, but I think she's like, "You're such an asshole, but I fucking love you."
Well, and that's the thing with marriages is like
You
I
can't go
feel-
in- right.
If this you can't just be like, "Oh, well, this person fucked me over, so I'm leaving them." Like, there's so much more to a relationship, I think, and we don't know the depth of their relationship. I really do think they love each other too.
I do too.
I've always thought that.
And I think he knows he's a dick.
Are they
sometimes.
fucking weekly? No, probably not. But
No, but it's like, my neighbors, Marjorie and Cy.
yeah,
He's 10 years old. They probably will stop by at some point. Anyway, he's 10 years older than her. She's 87. She's 77.
Wow.
She's like the hippest, coolest, like
Yeah.
you can't. And he's like the grandfather on Willy Wonka.
Oh,
Okay.
I want to be him.
And I'm like, Marge. Like he's a slob. He listens to a transistor radio. I mean, he's out
He
of his
listens to
fucking
a
mind. Yeah.
transistor.
Not anymore, but he did when he was gambling.
He's
anyway,
upgraded to a Motorola.
yeah.
Something.
So, and my kids he's the great, he's
Yeah.
like their grandfather. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I'm like, Marge, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
What, like you're walking down the aisle
It's just love.
and she's like, I never wanted to be bored.
Yeah.
And I don't think
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so. I mean, relationships are so much more than just "I love you,
right,
sex."
right.
You
I know
it's,
people. Yeah, it's true.
It runs so much deeper.
And
than
you
that.
hear
they
her
have
talk
they have a
about-
partnership, a professional
Right.
partnership.
Right. And you hear her talk about him. And also, he was really supportive of her.
Yeah.
Like when they called him to be on the Watergate,
Yeah.
one of the lawyers, he said no.
Her.
Her.
And she's the one who did it. And he
Right.
went to Arkansas
Right.
to run unsuccessfully for
Right.
Congress. Yeah.
He was a good president.
Yeah.
I mean, and fuck that impeachment. It was two consensual adults.
Yeah.
And as a Jew, I have to say, most women were like, "Oh, he likes a buxom Jew,"
Oh, he likes a
everyone was
full-figured
like,
girl.
"Oh, I like him even more." He had-
When I find out that someone is into someone who has they don't really care about the skinny
Right.
ones, I'm always like, I like you more. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
it makes
yeah.
it makes me feel pretty.
But I have to say about Monica Lewinsky, what a smart.
She's turned out to be amazing.
I just, I feel.
Did you see her TED Talk?
Yeah, and I feel bad that it's sad that she never had children.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm sure, because of this whole thing, because she really is a strong woman.
Yeah.
She really is.
She's the first victim of internet culture. She
right.
really is.
She and internet bullying.
Yep.
And she would have been a really good role model
But
for.
I think she is. She's a good
girl.
example
Yeah.
of. She is a great example of how to handle yourself
Right.
after
And
something like
classy.
that. Yeah.
And
very cool.
And
she's good friends with Ian McKellen. Who knew?
really,
Yeah, they're very good
I
friends.
love her.
They're very
Monica,
good
can you
friends.
do my podcast? I love you.
We'll call each other. You should text her. You could
Really?
totally text Monica.
I fucking love her.
Yeah.
I love her.
This week's episode of It's Judy Show with Judy Gold is sponsored by BetterHelp. And if you know me, which I think you do because you're listening to my podcast right now, you know that I am a big advocate for therapy. I think it benefits everyone. I think there's so many people who need it, who don't partake. It is so important for your emotional health and well-being. Therapy is fantastic. It is in every stretch of the imagination. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, please do it. But please give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It suits your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I have switched therapists in my life. I've had many, many therapists, and you know, sometimes it's not a great fit for you, but don't give up. Therapy is beneficial. You can learn about yourself, you can process, and just be emotionally healthy. I'm telling you, do it. BetterHelp is great because, you know, when I used to schlep to my therapist's office, it was so annoying. You have to do it, and you sit there and you wait, and then I'm telling you, doing it online is fantastic. And BetterHelp is amazing. I know a lot of people who've used it. So if you're thinking about therapy, go to BetterHelp.com. Let the gratitude flow. This is Gratitude Month, people. So you need to let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JudyGold, JudyGold, today, and you will get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome.
Okay, so you moved to to New York. You work in politics.
Yes.
How many years did you do that? And
Four?
how do you make
4
money
years.
doing that?
You don't.
Right.
You get fired from jobs, and then you move
Right.
to the next job, and you keep. It's like
So
like comedy.
So you're working on a campaign,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you get money from the campaign.
Yeah.
And then
I
they
think I
don't
was-
win, and
Yeah.
it's like bye.
That's it.
Nice work. It's like a show getting
I
canceled.
mean, I'm still. Yeah, it is. It is.
Right.
It's very similar to comedy in that you're just so used to being fired at any second.
Right.
You know what I mean? You just know it's going to happen.
Well, it's also like when, you know, I always say when I was on a sitcom and I'd see all these, you know, we'd go to rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it'd be like the rehearsal with the network there, and
Yeah.
you'd see the network in the corner, like their suits on and everything, like whispering and
Yeah.
looking. And I used to, like, after the network run through, I used to go like, do I need to pack my stuff up? You know, like, because it.
Even to this day, I always
always
think
think
I'm
I'm
on the
getting
verge.
fired,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Okay, so
And then I go back and I
You
work.
work in politics, and then
Yeah.
you decide to move to LA. Is that
Well,
correct?
so I started in comedy. I left politics. I had a day job working for AIDS Walk, New York, Los Angeles. I would
You know, I
help
used to
plan.
do all
I
the-
remember all those because I was around when you were doing a lot
yeah,
of them.
and I would.
I think that's when we first met. Was back then.
I used to go to some of their tent
Yep,
things and
yep.
perform.
I definitely remember all of
Yes,
that. Yeah.
and I loved it.
Yeah.
That's when I think of. All right, this is going to be really
Is it dark?
unpopular,
Oh.
but when I think of the LGBTQ or STUVXYZ community today,
Yes.
and the fighting over the pronouns and this and
Yeah.
that, and I think of going to a party
Mm-hmm.
when I'm 24 and
Yeah.
wondering if I'll ever see half of those guys again. You
Yeah.
know, and going and working at the AIDS Walk and working at the AIDS Ride and
Mm-hmm.
going and performing for them while they're while
Yeah.
they're trying to ride across country. You know, it fucking pisses me off. It fucking pisses me off. It pisses me off when gay men, young gay men don't wear condoms or think that they can just take PrEP. And it's like, fuck you. It was a plague, you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And, you take for granted the fact that, we can get married. We can get. The only reason why is because we had a plague, and people were being, they were together for 30 years, and then the family who didn't talk to them for 30 years comes in and takes all their things and says, "You can't go to the funeral. Get out of this house. You have nothing."
It does blow me away that we especially I think my generation, we're on that cusp of sort of like the post Matthew Shepard generation,
right,
where we're on that cusp of living in a world where HIV is a treatable illness, but at the same time is also still a very scary virus.
Right.
And where we take for granted, it's sort of like we don't have, because everyone who came before us is basically dead. And
oh my God, the people that
you don't have that. There's a disconnect there. And I'm just last week I was at a show and someone didn't know who Matthew Shepard was, a younger gay. He was 26, 27. He didn't know who Matthew Shepard was, which blew me away. How do you not know who Matthew?
Do you want to know why? This is what I believe. As a Jew, our story is told from our parents and our parents' parents. And when you're gay, you're usually the only gay in your family.
Yeah.
And there's no one there unless you seek it out to tell the story of our history.
Yeah.
They don't teach it in schools. They, still shun us. They still think it's people think it's a choice and you can be. And the fact that, the dial, my generation had to create our own families.
Yeah.
Right. And you talk about that in your Latter-day Jew. It's that, your friend's mother, what's her name?
Colleen.
I want Colleen in my life. Colleen says, we have, and so does the rabbi.
Yeah.
The rabbi also says,
Yeah, Rabbi Zach.
we have our families we're born to. We have our families that we choose.
Yeah.
And, most of my generation had a chosen family because we couldn't be who we were with our, and I
think that's still very relevant today.
And those are the storytellers. But unless you seek them out, unless you say, what did you go through? What did you, and because it's not like my mother going, the Holocaust, the Holocaust, the Holocaust.
Yeah.
But
there is a disconnect within queer communities of people sharing, and I also think there's a disconnect with even older queer people because there's a lot of anger for the ignorance of the younger queer people.
There's also a lot of anger because, as the lesbians, the women, really
who got us through HIV/AIDS
never get any credit.
None whatsoever.
In film.
Yeah.
Depicting it in
Didn't you have Julia Roberts? No, she was a doctor in Normal Heart.
Right.
So you don't even get that.
It's so upsetting.
Yeah. It blows me away that
we were the ones that were not afraid.
Yeah.
We would go in without masks on our face, and and we get. It's so upset. That is
well, and also lesbians in general. Where you look at the Mattachine Society. You look at so many different groups of lesbians who they started. Barbara Billings. Is it Billingsley? Billings? Was she
Barbara Billingsley.
The American Psychiatric Association, sitting next to the doctor who had to wear a mask.
Right.
But before they decriminal or made it so that it wasn't a
Barbara
disease.
Barbara Billingsley was on fucking Leave It to Beaver.
Oh yeah, what's her name? Barbara Gilling. Regardless,
can you do something, Elisa, and look that up? You fucking sitting there with your cozy little cuteness.
Yeah.
Do something. Yeah. It's infuriating.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and I'm such a history nerd that is, and that's also the Jewish
you're
part
gonna
of
love
me.
my book because I do a lot about the press conferences during AIDS and the way
the Reagan press conferences. Oh wow.
And
didn't say AIDS until 1987.
1987.
How is that possible?
But when one of the journalists was saying, hey, what about this new, and they didn't even have a name for it yet.
Called gay-related immune deficiency.
And they were like, oh, you got something to tell us?
Yeah.
You got to see the transcripts.
Yeah.
There's
audio of it, isn't there? Yeah,
they're
laughing.
Yes,
it's
laughing.
ridiculous. Yeah.
And he brings it up again. And they're like, okay, what's going on with you?
Meanwhile, Rock Hudson's trying to get back into the United States and get drugs, and Nancy Reagan won't even take her phone call.
And
fuck that bitch.
Fuck her.
Barbara Billingsley. Is that her name?
Leave It to Beaver.
No,
the other
the
one.
gay
Lisa,
one. The
we
gay
know that.
one.
You're You're such a fuckhead. Get out. Okay, so you moved.
She's the straight one in the room.
I know. You moved to LA. You're done with politics.
I'm done.
Moved to LA.
I'm
You're
done.
Gonna write
I'm gonna
and do stand-up.
I'm gonna be famous.
Okay.
Not really. I want to make a living.
How old are you when you moved there?
30. I just turned 30.
And how, the
It was
story's
within
going.
2 weeks.
And within 2 weeks, you find out you have cancer.
Yeah, well, I found out I had a pain in my groin and my testicles.
Tell me
and then
about
I
it.
go,
Hey now.
Hey-o! And I go to a doctor. I didn't have a doctor there. All my doctors were here,
Right.
And then within 48 hours, I had to have surgery to have it taken out because they were worried how quick it was, how big it was. And then they confirmed.
Your penis? How big your penis?
I wish. My thighs make that look really small. And then I had to have a surgery, and then within
So
3 weeks
in
after
your
that,
testicle?
yeah, it was. And within 3 weeks, I started chemo. And there was
Because
no.
I know a lot of guys who've had testicular cancer and haven't had to have chemo, but so yours must have been.
Mine was it was advanced, and then it was moving fast, and they just wanted to get it before it got into my lymph nodes. That was the big.
So
thing.
this is the one non-Jewish thing, is that you went to the doctor and
I didn't stress about it for weeks.
Yeah. And weren't like, oh my God. Oh
no.
So that,
I immediately, because I didn't know what was going on, but I knew if I wasn't able to work out, I was training for the New York Marathon at that point.
Did you run it?
No, because
do you want to see my pin?
Oh,
Go ahead.
I do. Where is it?
It's up there. I'll show you.
Okay, show me later. But I was training and I couldn't do anything. The pain was so bad.
Right.
And then it all happened real quick. And within those few weeks, I had to have a lot of my teeth pulled because I hadn't gone to the dentist in a while. And chemo
that's
fucks your
not
teeth.
Jewish.
Yeah, I know.
No, you have twice a year.
I know. I needed to, but I didn't have any money. I was so broke. And
But health insurance is very important to the Jews.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't have any then. And,
Yeah.
Well, no, I did through my company, but it was shit insurance.
Okay.
It basically was
so
nothing.
you go to the doctor.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you have cancer, right?
Well, they didn't say that. They were very hesitant to call it that until they did the biopsy. And
They
then
did the biopsy.
said,
Where were you when you
yes.
got the results?
I was in Beverly. Oh, when I got the results, I remember I went to the doctor. I was at home with. They did blood work, and then he called me at home because he initially thought it was like some STD. I went to this gay doctor, and he was like, "Oh, it's probably an STD," and I'm like, "I haven't had sex in a while, so I don't think it's an STD." And he was insistent that it probably was, and I felt like it was this gay doctor, but I almost felt like I was getting like discriminated against in a way.
Right.
You know, it felt very strange because he wasn't listening to me. And then
Oh,
he
try
called
being
me,
a woman at the doctor's
right?
office. Yeah.
And he called me at home, and I could tell that he probably felt like my suspicion was right.
Right.
The Jew in me.
Right.
I knew what was up, and he didn't acknowledge that, and then I turned out to be right. And then
So he called you?
he called me and said that I have.
All right, so let's do the phone call.
Okay.
I'll be you.
Okay.
Hello.
So we need to get you into the urologist
Wait,
very
no,
quickly.
that's not him.
No, it was. It really was.
He didn't say hi. It's Dr. So-and-so.
Oh, he said hi. He said hi. I'm getting.
beginning.
You're setting the scene. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. This is Dr. Dickhead.
Hey, Dr. Dickhead. How are
Yes.
you?
Oh, doing well. I just we got your blood work back, and we're going to need you to make an appointment with the urologist very soon. And I then say, do I have a week? Can I'm traveling this week.
I have a gig. Can I come in next week?
No, this can't wait. You need to get in tomorrow. And he made the appointment for tomorrow. And then I was at the urologist, and then boom.
I feel like I had no lines in this.
Yeah.
scene.
I know this isn't a good. That call was not the best call in the world.
All right, we'll do another one.
The
We'll do
best
another
scene to
one.
reenact was with the urologist because.
Okay. All right.
But you have to know. You have to know what happened at the. So the urologist was playing Adele's "Someone Like You" on a loop. Apparently, one of the nurses was going through something, and there was lots of like penis-related injuries that day. Apparently, because it was packed.
What kind of penis-related?
I don't know, but there was no room for me to wait into. I guess.
All right.
And so he takes me into his like wood paneled office. It was like something from Growing Pains, it was like
wow.
the Dr. Seaver office, and he makes me take down my pants in his office. So because he sees the X-rays, but he just wants to feel it for himself. It was like a Hollywood casting couch.
Wait, was he gay?
No. He was very much not gay, and he just wants to feel it for himself. So I'm standing there with my pants around my ankles in this man's wood paneled office because there's no other examining rooms. It was the strangest And all
Wait,
I'm
you're
thinking,
in his office,
Yeah.
and your pants are and you're just standing there.
Yeah.
With your dick hanging out.
Yes.
And your balls.
Yes. The RIP, because there's only one now, but yes.
Okay, so then he went inside.
He felt my balls.
Like you're standing there.
Yeah.
So he's got his certificate on the wall.
All the certificate.
Family photos.
Messy, those folders up to,
Okay.
everywhere.
All
it's
right.
very messy office.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I'm
all
looking
his
out
medical
over.
books.
Yes.
And the window's open, and you're
windows-
just standing there.
I'm just standing there. Literally,
And he gets
there's
up
a
from
leather.
behind the desk.
Yes. Where
He's like, let me grab
he's
your
about to
balls.
go out, and he's like,
Okay.
I just want to feel for myself. So I stand up from this leather chair I'm sitting in and pull my pants down in this man's office. Like he had
Did
Microsoft
you get a hard
Office
on?
open. No, I know. Because I was thinking, I didn't know I needed surgery then. I thought maybe I could just start chemo and take care of it because I didn't want to have
Was
surgery.
it carpeted?
And it was. It was carpeted.
Okay.
Yeah, it was UCLA. Oh no, it was oh God. Oh, what's the hospital there?
Cedars.
Cedars, thank you.
Cedars-Sinai.
Yeah, Cedars.
Okay.
And so he told me, and then he said, we're going to schedule the surgery for Friday. This was like Wednesday, and I had a day to prepare. And I remember the first place I went was to Target.
What?
I went
Not
to
Jewish.
Target.
Not Jewish.
I went to Target to
No, you
sort
go
of.
to Neiman Marcus.
I don't have
You're
Neiman
not
money.
Jewish.
I don't
It
have
doesn't
Neiman
matter.
money.
Once you get cancer, you go to the fucking Barney's, you idiot. Okay, not Jewish.
Yeah, I went to Target because he told. Well, no, you know what? I went to Target because he told me I needed to have like loose-fitting clothes, and I didn't have any of my sweats or anything there. I had to go to Target to buy cancer clothes.
What are cancer clothes?
Like sweats, loose-fitting
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I didn't have any of that, so I went and bought clothes.
Who did you call after you got the cancer diagnosis?
My mother. That's a Jewish thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
and what did she say?
I started crying. I don't know. I
Did
don't
she
remember.
know immediately?
Yeah, she knew immediately.
It's
Yeah.
so amazing. Isn't
Yeah.
it amazing?
Yeah, she knew as soon as I gave her that call and she heard my voice, she knew instantly something was wrong. And the call lasted maybe a few seconds, and I said I would just call her back. I couldn't talk. And I went and I got my car, drove to Target, came home that night, and we had a dinner because that was the last meal I could eat because I had to like fast for a day or something.
That's the worst.
And that's how it happened. It was the strangest. It was out of body because it was one of those weird things where like I had never needed a surgery before that. I had no health problems. I had nothing in my life that prepared me for something like that. And here I am ostensibly alone in a city that I don't live in. New York is my home, but I don't
And you had an apartment?
I had an apartment here, yeah.
Where?
I was
in
in LA. No, I didn't. I was living with I would always stay with my friend's mother, Colleen, in the film. I would stay with my best friend's mom whenever I visited LA because she had a house in Hollywood.
And how come she had a house in Hollywood?
That's where she
Is that
raised
where
her
she
kids.
lived?
Yeah, she just lived
okay.
there.
Oh,
yeah,
all
and she
right.
she was kind of the house for wayward gays. All of Matt's friends would
I love
come stay
Colleen.
there sometimes, and I wound up staying there for years. Yeah.
What's her last name?
Colleen Azen. She's the best.
Is she a J?
No, she's not, but she
looks
basically
J.
is.
I know.
She's Catholic, but
she's great.
She really is.
Where was your apartment here?
In East Village, East 4th and C.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, my room was 5 by 11. Like
It's cozy.
It was
as
cozy.
Elisa
That's
Rosen
right.
would say in her fucking
There was no sink in the
big
bathroom. It was one
mansion.
of those East Village
Fucking
apartments with
rich
no
husband.
sink in the bathroom.
Thank you so much for listening to part 1 of Kill Me Now with H. Alan Scott. Make sure to tune in next week for the rest of our interview. That'll be part 2. If you like the show, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. It helps more people find this amazing show. 5 stars only, please. Thank you. I'll be traveling a lot soon, so if you're not based in New York City, listen up for some dates that might be near you. We're sold out for the live episode of Kill Me Now at Club Coming with the Bridget Everett on February 20th in New York City. But if there's any additional tickets available, watch my social media for more details. February 22nd, I'll be headed to Coachella Valley Rep in California. It's right by Palm Springs for a fundraiser with Bruce Valanche. March 6th, I'll be at Kent Stage in Kent, Ohio as part of the Rainbow Weekend. I'm gay. March 9th, I'll be at Rick Bronson's Comedy Club in Bloomington, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Oh, Bloomington and whatever. And on March 18th, I'll be performing for Homo Comicus in New York at Gotham Comedy Club. You can get tickets for all of these events at judygold.com. And a lot of exciting dates will be announced very soon, so stay up to date on all new dates. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JudyGold, JEWDYGOLD, like a Jew.
Get it? Jew Gold. Anyway, thanks so much for listening. And as we always say, so long!
Don't forget to tune in next week to Just Kill Me Now.
It's Just Kill Me.
Oh. Don't forget to turn for part 2 on Just Kill Me.
No, it's not. It's
Just Kill Me.
No.
Judy Gold's Just Kill Me.
Just.
Just kill me now.